Hello and welcome to Unbox the Podcast. I'm your host, Sahar Huneidi Palmer. This season is season 25 and this episode is episode 23. We're going to continue with our journey under this year's theme, which is the power of your story. You know by now that the story you tell yourself shapes the life you live. Mostly, our unconscious mind is writing the narrative. But when you're self-aware, which is what Unbox with Sahar is all about, you can change your story and your life will change. Ready to go deeper? Let's start. Let's talk about that moment when you've let go of the old, but nothing has appeared yet. You're in that space in between and you can feel wobbly, emotional, and downright confusing. The space in between does feel weird. You've said yes to change, you've acknowledged that something had to shift, and that you're letting go. You've let go of a situation, a role, a relationship. You know it wasn't working. Or so you thought, because right after that, the old patterns come rushing back. The voice in your head, that knot in your stomach, that desperate feeling of, oh no, I've messed it all up. All these emotions came flooding back. Old doubts, old fear, sadness, even desperation. And your mind starts shouting, what have I done? Sounds familiar? Here's the truth. What's coming up now isn't a sign that you're going 2 steps back. What's surfacing for you now is what you need to let go of. Emotions surface when we've accepted a situation. To the body-mind connection, you feel safe, and then all the rubbish, all the garbage, if you will, the baggage starts surfacing so that you can clear it away. What is surfacing needs to leave you. Leave your heart, leave your mind, and your life. It can be a story that you're used to, or things, or people, or even lifestyle. It's all connected. It's time to declutter, cleanse, detox, and clear. This is the space in between. And here's the thing. What comes up now is coming up for you to let go of. It's like old hand-me-down coat that no longer fits. Would you pick that up and wear it? Or since we're on a life journey, it's like old baggage popping up on a conveyor belt when you don't need it. This is now, and you're going somewhere else, somewhere new. But you get to choose. Do I pick it up again, or do I just let it go? I hope you've said that you'd let it go, because where you're going is different from where you are now or where you were. None of the dysfunctional past that caused you the pain is any good, and it's not going into the new space where you're going. It's not useful, and it's not conducive for your growth. You know something? Your heart already knew. Let's pause here for a moment. Remember the last episode we talked about your heart actually sends messages to the brain, not the other way around? So if you've been longing for peace, if your soul has whispered, I need peace, or maybe you said, I want more freedom. I'm done with this life. I'm done with whatever is draining me. And your heart heard it. Even your conscious mind wasn't fully ready, but your heart started sending those messages to your brain, quietly reshuffling the pieces, preparing an exit strategy on a conscious level, long before your mind caught up. And that's the beauty of our brain. It really works all the time, even when we're sleeping. But you have to be aware of what commands are you prompting it with. So no, you're not lost, you're not broken, there is no best version of you, this is it. You are already the best version that you are. All that we need to do now is recalibrate, modulate, and for you to become more aware so that you can direct your own movie, your own story. What's happening now is you're catching up with the shift, with the life transformation shift, not change, You've already started, you've already set in motion. So what's dying is what no longer fits. Let me ask you this. What's the loudest story playing in your mind now? Is it fear, sadness, one of anger or doubt? Because what's surfacing up is what needs to be released. So let's talk about heaviness. For many people, what surfaces here at such a time is sadness, real grief, a sense that you've lost something, a sense that something has died. And guess what? It has, but it's not you, it's not your life, it's the identity that no longer fits through which you played the roles that you played. Well, that's why we keep updating profile pictures or images, photographs in passports and IDs, because you no longer are identified by that person in that old ID or in that old photo. We are no longer who we were 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago. We are always changing, evolving, and we shift into certain roles, certain identities for a certain amount of time that is required for us to complete a task, if you will. If you craved more peace, maybe your role was a fixer, a boss, a carer, a CEO. Everything has to go. The I will handle everything version of you had to die. Let that sink in. So the old version has to die in order to give birth to the new you. The grief is real, but it's not a signal to stop. It's a sign you're leaving the old story behind. Let me share a story with you. One of my male clients, let's call him Adam, had a top-level corporate job, high status, high pressure, and he was brilliant at it. But suddenly, things started unraveling. It felt like the ground beneath his feet was shifting. His input was ignored, his ideas were sidelined, even the projects he handled were reassigned. His role began to shrink, and he said to me, "It's like I'm being pushed away." He felt blindsided, rejected, even betrayed. But when we slowed things down and did some inner work, he admitted something to me later. He said, "I've been unhappy for years." He even started going to a psychotherapist to help him cope with what he was going through. But his heart already knew. He had outgrown the role, the prestige, the identity of always playing that certain role in that already set paradigm. Not his, but the corporation he was working for. And I told him, you don't need a psychotherapy, you just need to connect with your heart and actually listen to what's going on. You need to acknowledge your truth, because that is what you've been feeling all along. You just shut it down, you stuck it somewhere, and you stuck to the familiar construct instead of taking time out to create your own. Why? To keep playing the game you grew to know how to play out of habit. So I asked him one question. If you could use one word to name what you truly yearn for, what would that be? He blurted out, freedom! Freedom to be and do my work on my own terms. No hesitation. Then I asked him, what has to go to make room for that? He paused momentarily and then he said, approval, external validation that I seek from my current corporate structure. Boom, there it was. Wanting to please everyone, to stay needed and not to rock the boat and to continue doing what he got used to doing. That's the game he was used to, that the story he was telling. That was his real baggage. That moment, it dropped. 2 days later, he sent me a message saying that since our last meet, he feels different, like something has shifted, as though he's now existing on a different plane. His words, not mine. So let's do the same together here now. If you can, if you're not driving, take a deep breath. You can close your eyes if you're relaxing. If not, it doesn't really matter. Just focus on my voice. Take a very deep breath and you can place your hand over your heart. Now ask yourself, mentally focusing on your heart, ask yourself this question. and answer it with the first word that pops into your head. What do I want or yearn for most right now? Say it. Don't censor it. What do you want right now? What is your heart yearning for right now? Now ask your mind, what has to go to make space for that? Again, just one word. Trust what comes up. This is your intuition speaking. And it always knows. In fact, the moment we don't claim our intuition, our inner guidance, we get blocked because we're not listening. Write both words down and let them land. That's your compass for the next steps. That is your starting point. Clients often ask me, what's the difference between intuition and inner guidance? Well, intuition is your soul's nudge. Inner guidance is how you respond. And I'm currently finishing a blog post on this very topic. So please make sure to visit my website, tap the blog tab, and read the blog when it's up. I'll post it in the show notes and I'll let you know when it is up. I want to emphasize something. Before you come down on yourself, before you put a label on things, I want you to know you're not going back. What is happening is you are stepping into a new paradigm and you're not used to it, and therefore you don't know how to deal with it. What you're feeling isn't failure. It's grief. Something is dying, yes, but that is the old version of you. The version that you were no longer fits in the life that you're creating for yourself. So you're not starting over. You're stepping out of the old track into something completely new. This transition is what I call the transition from apprentice to mastery of mind. And in mastery, you stop taking things personally, you stop putting labels, you stop analyzing on a surface level. You stop trying to control. What you do is you start listening, you start sensing, you start disengaging, stepping back so you can see the patterns that are building, and then you can see the big picture. So let's do a visualization together right now to help you drop the baggage. Imagine you're standing in front of a door, a very narrow doorway. Ahead is what you asked for: freedom, peace, joy, real alignment, ease of flow. Behind you is everything that you have outgrown. But you're carrying heavy bags: fear, guilt, expectation, old identity. Look down. What are you carrying? What is in that baggage? You don't need the guilt or the overthinking or the habit of explaining yourself to other people who still see you as the old version of you. Now see yourself dropping them one by one. You can't get through carrying all of that, and you don't need to. Drop it. All of it. Drop it. Feel the relief and breathe. Step through that doorway now. It is safe to step into the unknown. Well, you've done that really well, and I hope you felt a sense of change within you. Let me know. Drop me a comment if you're on Spotify, or leave me a comment anywhere, YouTube, on any social media platform. So what's the next step, you ask? Well, let me tell you, you start from joy. Let me ask you this. When are you the happiest? What 3 moments last week, for example, brought you joy? Have you registered them? What activity makes you lose track of time? What were you doing and who were you doing it with? What small desires keeps nudging you? These are not small things, they're clues. You don't need to have a full plan, you just need to start and to trust. A client who kept saying, I have no idea what I want right now. I asked her to track what made her smile every day for a week. Turns out it was gardening. She moved with her garden to the new place, and 2 months later, she's planting new things, doing things. She's now selling herbs online and created a small business out of that. She feels fulfilled for the first time in years. She just never thought of taking it a step further. Another client of mine years ago when I was in London was a top IBM executive. She attended a workshop that I actually gave in her home, and where we mind map everyone to see who they were and what was emerging for them. When we stood back to look at the whole map to see what has emerged, it really shocked her. Despite having built an illustrious career as a computer technology engineer, what she really loved was baking, but she never got a chance to do it. And that's what dropped for her. Life changes led her to the right partner. She got married, she moved countries, and now she's settled. And she started doing exactly what she always wanted to do. She's creating unique, conscious fusion recipes, and she is deliciously happy. If you're standing at the doorway in the space in between, right now, unsure what to do next, please ask for help or book an Unbox Discovery session with me. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's a 45-minute conversation to help you clear your emotional mental baggage and identify what is your next step. You'll walk away clearer and lighter, and I promise you. And if you're really eager to start, why not join my Unbox online group mentoring? We begin as soon as I have a small group of 4 or 5 people. You will get 1 private session with me and 4 group sessions and ongoing in-between sessions support. I create a WhatsApp group where we can all interact and you can all ask questions for every online cycle or group mentoring cycle that I have. You can find all the details on my website, but I will drop them in the show notes. So let's wrap up. You're not falling behind. You're not starting over. You are evolving. And where you're going is exactly what you asked for, consciously or unconsciously. Let the old story go. Your next chapter has already begun. Rewrite your story. Reclaim your power. If this episode has helped you, I'd love for you to do this. Write a review if you're on Apple, post a comment if you're on Spotify, and if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment. I read everyone and I reply. And remember to hit the subscribe button. It really does help the algorithm. I am an independent podcaster and it lets me keep bringing you more podcast episodes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, and keep unboxing. This is Sahar Palmer wishing you a wonderful, lighter week.